The substance of chemicals that have been top bread companies have been accused of using in their products. So could you take us through the report and to what extent these chemicals like potassium bromate and iodate have been used by these companies?
First of all, the study was to establish the presence of potassium bromate and iodate in the final product. As you know, Food Safety and Standard Authority allows use of both these chemicals at a level of 50 parts per million or 50 milligram per kg as a flour treatment agent. But the assumption is that this should not be in the final product, and therefore there is no final product standard for potassium bromate or potassium iodate in the bread that we eat. So the objective was to find out whether these two chemicals come in the final product or not, and therefore we tested 38 different kinds of bread, from white bread to multigrain bread of different companies, looking at pizza bread of fast food joints, looking at burger breads of fast food joints, and 38 commonly available. The idea was not to test all products. The idea was to establish the extent of use of both these chemicals and their presence in the final product, so that we can go back to the government and say that these two chemicals are not required in our bread. These are non-essential chemicals. There are alternatives available, and removing them will give us very high public health benefit very quickly. That was the idea of doing this study.
So we are given to understand that there were top companies that have been using these chemicals. Could you name some companies that were tested?
So, for example, we tested bread of companies like Britannia, Perfect, Harvest, English Oven. These are some of the companies. We also tested burger bun as well as pizza bread of fast food companies like Slice of Italy, McDonald's, and others. So, broadly, whatever is commonly available, we try to include them, but as I said, it is not an exhaustive list. The objective of the study was not to rank products, but to bring out the fact and increase awareness of the people.
Right. So these companies have been saying that whatever they are using, they aren't outside the purview of the FSSAI Act, which it permits, and FSSAI itself has been saying that latest that we have heard from FSSAI is that the report is not as damning. They are saying that it is within the prescribed limit. What do you have to say about that?
First of all, I think the standard is on input. So you will use 50 milligram per kg of potassium bromate and or iodate as a flour treatment agent. You have to label them if you are using them. First of all the bread that we have tested, only one company has honestly labeled that they are using potassium bromate. There is a labeling problem. Point number two, there is no final product standard. So even though you are allowed to use, across the world, as far as potassium bromate is concerned, the assumption is that the bromate will get converted into bromide, and bromide is a harmless chemical. But we have established, and as has been established across the world, that doesn't happen, and therefore bromate is not allowed to be used in bread. And as far as iodate, which we are more concerned about, because we get fortified salt, iodine fortified salt to meet our essential needs, and if we are going to use iodized potassium iodate also in the bread, there is huge chance of our over exceeding iodine requirement and therefore thyroid problem.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.